Get your knee off our neck. It was a powerful message today at the funeral of George Floyd, the man killed by a former police officer who rammed his knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds until he was dead. Today, Floyd's family and Reverend Al Sharpton remembered George Floyd at the funeral, but they delivered a powerful message. The systemic police violence and discrimination must end now. Floyd's death continues to fuel protests that are showing no signs of abating. Bishop Harding Smith is the president of Minnesota Acts Now. He was not able to attend that service today. A member of his church were in attendance. He joins us from Minneapolis. Bishop, first of all, sir, good to have you back on our program. I watched that funeral like people all over the world did. I'm sure you did as well. What was your reaction to it?
This is exactly the forum that we need to convey our message that we as a people will no longer tolerate evil practices by the police, that we will no longer tolerate racism and hatred towards us. This is a forum that we need to convey unity and stand up for our rights.
Reverend Al Sharpton repeated a number of times, get your knee off our neck. Talk about how that resonates with you and with the moment we're in now.
I'll tell you this. People in the United States are thirsty. Jesus said, I thirst. People in Canada are thirsty. People are thirsty all over the world for justice and equality. People thirst everywhere for transparency today. And we can't seem to find it. People are hurt. We have been hurting for too long. We have been mistreated for too long. The anger, the pain that you see today, this is something that we have been carrying as a people, and we have been screaming at the top of our lungs, but nobody seems to hear. And what the people are saying today, finally, the world is listening, but for how long? But for how long?
That is the question. For how long? And I'm listening to you. I'm hearing your pain, Bishop. And we've spoken before. There was a lot of criticism of President Trump today, but they did not use his name. What is your message to him on this day?
We need leadership from the White House. We need to start healing again. And we are hoping that the president can lead this nation into healing. We want positive messages coming from the White House. And we're looking forward to the White House to bring this community, to bring this nation back together again. We've never been this divided before. I cannot recall of us being this divided like this before. It's bad. It's really bad. There's a lot of hurting. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of suffering. There are people that are grieving within their hearts, black and whites. Cannot imagine that they will ever see a day where a man will be executed right before their very eyes. This is so hurtful. This is gut check for everyone. And here is the question. Here is the question. The question is, can a successful persecution that leads to imprisonment rectify the hurt and loss that so many people feel today?
But what is this? Is you're asking a poignant, or maybe an impossible question. All 4 officers are facing charges. But even if they're convicted, you talked about the moment. Do the protests, Bishop, slow down? What are we looking for? Where is this? I know you don't have a crystal ball, sir, and I appreciate it. But where is it headed?
Right now, even as we're having the funeral for Mr. Floyd, there's a protest brewing in the suburbs at another police station here, right outside of Minneapolis. The charges are good. It's a good thing to start the nation towards the path of healing. But there are people that are watching. They are watching the charges. They're going to walk into this with both eyes open, watching this trial, because too many times we have been down this road before. We were down this road with Rodney King, where 63 people lost their lives, and there was burnings of buildings and everything, and the officers were acquitted. So we've been down this road before. People are edgy. People are angry. People want to be able to, people want you to give them a reason to trust the system again. We have been.
What do you, just before I let you go, Bishop, today Reverend Sharpton implicitly criticized Justin Trudeau when he said, I don't need to 21 seconds pause to know what I'm going to say. I'm intrigued to hear what you say about that as a bishop and as an activist on the ground, but also what you'd like to see from the rest of the world right now. What message?
What's going on in the world right now is because people are thirsty. They are thirsty for justice and equality. They want their leader to lead. People are thirsty for the Canadian dream. They are thirsty for the American dream. We are thirsty that our kids can be able to ride down the street without being gunned down by police. We are thirsty for transparency, for tranquility, for peace. We are not having that. When you see people marching all across the world, it's because their voices have been silent for too long. Their voices have not been heard. And we want to be heard because we do matter. And the injustices, the racism, the hatred, it has to end. And I like to reach out to the Prime Minister of Canada, and I'm hoping someday maybe I can have a meeting with him. This is a bigger problem that faces every single one of us than we think it is. It's bigger than us. This is something that we need to discuss in the schools. This is something that parents need to talk to their kids about at night. This is a serious issue that is eroding our country for the worst. It cannot get better until we start to confront this evil that have overtaken our land. And
Bishop Harding Smith.
I hope that the Justin Trudeau will put a commission together to see how we can come up with the best path to move forward, how we can put a group of people together. Let's have a discussion of this before something bad happens. And I know we have the situation where Regis there in Canada, and our prayers are with her family. And after things calm down here in Minnesota, we are hoping to connect with the people in Canada to see how we can support them in their fight against injustice and racism.
Bishop Harding Smith in Minneapolis. Powerful words as always, sir. And our hearts are with you and your community. Thank you, sir, very much.
Thank you for having me.